Yo, what is up, you guys? Big for another video. In today's video, we are reacting to 4 true Chuck E. Cheese animated horror stories. Now listen. Now Chuck E. Cheese. But I've been to Chuck E. Cheese like twice. I've never been to Chuck E. Cheese that many times. Animatronics, big Financial Footies fan over here. I did do an entire series. You can go ahead and go watch that if you want. Okay. The reason why I thought of this video idea is because I was seeing some abandoned places in Chuck E. Cheese stumbled across, and my mom told me that there was a Chuck E. Cheese before. Actual Chuck E. Cheese was called Big. What was it? Showbiz. I'll put a picture on the screen. It's very scary. And then I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just watch it. Let's jump into it. Here we go.
When I was a kid, I went to Chuck E. Cheese a number of times. It was pretty popular back then for kids to go to for birthday parties.
Okay, and we're also reacting to MJV Animations. I like to say who we're reacting to. This is his videos. Let's jump into it officially.
Or for whatever reason. I always loved going there, and every part about it was cool.
Okay.
But one time, when I was about 8 years old, that all changed. I was invited to my friend's birthday party, and it would be at the local Chuck E. Cheese. He was a friend of mine and classmate from school.
You like a crackhead,
I think his name was Ben, and we weren't really that great of friends, but he invited like 20 people. The party was that Saturday, and the neighborhood that I lived in was really close by to the Chuck E. Cheese. In fact, I could walk there if I wanted to. So, on Saturday, my parents actually did in fact let me walk there. It took me under 10 minutes, and our neighborhood was very safe that I was aware of. I don't remember any crime happening or ever feeling scared to leave my house. I got to the Chuck E. Cheese and was one of the first kids there. I talked to Ben, and pretty quickly a bunch of other kids started showing up. After that, I don't remember a whole lot. We were just playing arcade games, eating pizza, and drinking soda. It was a pretty fun time, just like any other experience that I had at Chuck E. Cheese as a kid. There were other people there too, but for my friend's party, they had rented off a little room of space.
Yep.
He had cake as well, and the party lasted for probably 2 or 3 hours. Then, when people started to leave, I decided to go home. I remember I told Ben's parents that I was going to walk home, and they offered to give me a ride. I told them how close I lived, and they made sure that my parents knew I was walking home, but they said it was okay. So then, I left. I was happy to walk back by myself, because it made me feel older than I actually was. And when I walked home on that day, everything was fine. I took the sidewalk past the Chuck E. Cheese and behind it. That led right into the residential neighborhood that I lived in. Then I just walked a few blocks and only had to turn once. It was still daytime and just seemed like a regular Saturday to me. I don't remember noticing anything out of the ordinary. I made it home, and after getting there, I don't really remember what I did for the rest of the day.
I wonder how this
Probably
correlates
just
to
the typical
Chuck E.
stuff
Cheese.
of watching TV or playing video games. I lived with my parents and younger brother in a 1-story house that wasn't really that big or small. I went to bed that night, and this is where things get really creepy. I had my bedroom all to myself, and my window was next to my bed and looked out to the backyard.
Don't tell me Chucky's at this dude's house,
in the middle of the night, I woke up. I'm not really sure why I did, but when I did, I was really groggy and kind of looked around my room, wondering what time it was. I then sat up to look at my clock/radio that was on my nightstand next to me. It was then that I realized something was outside of my window. My blinds covered the window, but they were open partly. Then I remember looking over to see a large Chuck E. Cheese mask. It was the mask of the mouse, and somebody was standing there wearing it over.
I can just tell you this right now: this story did not happen. But I'm so confident this story didn't happen. I don't even gotta watch the rest of the story to know. I'm going to watch it, but I know this did not happen. But you're telling me an employee followed you home in a Chucky outfit? He just standing outside your house. I do not believe this for 1 second. Okay, so now you scamming me.
For their head and staring into my window. The feeling that I got when I saw it was the most scared I had ever been, for sure. I was also shocked, and I just couldn't believe it. It was so random and bizarre. I moved back and got off of my bed. Then I ran away and into my brother's bedroom. He was fast asleep, and I just kind of stood in there for a while, just inside the doorway, not knowing what to do. Eventually, I went into the living room and turned on the TV. I didn't want to wake anybody else up, but I also didn't want to go back into my bedroom, and I couldn't sleep. I don't recall hearing anything else strange, and I didn't see the guy for the rest of the night. Eventually, I fell asleep on the living room couch. When my parents and brother got up, they asked me what I was doing on the couch, and I remembered the whole thing and told it to them. They were confused, and I think they believed me, but it was just such a weird situation.
I wouldn't have.
I even questioned myself many times if I actually saw what I think I did. I definitely was not half asleep, though.
Well,
I
you
know
did
that I
not
was
see
wide
that, boy.
awake. We went outside and saw something extremely creepy. Just below my window on the grass, there were some Chuck E. Cheese tickets. I never saw the guy again or experienced anything like that after. I wonder if it was somebody from Chuck E. Cheese who followed me home or something. To me, that makes the most sense. But
No.
like I said, I didn't notice anything unusual. Still to this day, I'm left with many questions about that experience.
Okay, man, what do y'all think about that story? Let me know in the comments. I actually have a story about Chuck E. Cheese, and this actually happened, bro. I remember one time, the few only times I actually been to Chuck E. Cheese. I'll never forget, boy. We were playing in the jungle gym. I'm more of the newer age school. I know, like, back in the day, Chuck E. Cheese and yeah, they did. They had like the little slides and shit. But I never went. One time, I was finna go down the slide, bro. I saw the slide and it was shit marks. No, okay, it was shit marks. I didn't go down the slide. I went down the little ladder and I was done. Then they pizza kind of is trash. I ate a slice of pizza, my stomach was hurting. So that's the only stories I got from Chuck E. Cheese, to be honest. That shit slide
This
is
is
crazy,
something that
man.
happened almost 10 years ago now.
Okay.
It was 2015, and at the time, I was a divorced mother of a 10-year-old boy. I enjoyed spending time with my son, and we would do fun things together all the time. One night, I took him to Chuck E. Cheese. It was fairly busy, and there were a lot of
Chuck E.
other
Cheese
people
looked
there.
decked. If this was,
My son always loved going there, and I would usually just sit at a table as he played the games. He was old enough that I didn't need to always keep an eye on him, so I sat at one of the tables and went on my phone. On this night in particular, I was pretty much by myself at one of the tables. My son was in the arcade somewhere, and nobody was sitting immediately near me. At one point, though, a man came up and sat at my table.
oh no!
I didn't see where he had come from. I just noticed when he sat down, and
Get
I
off your
looked up to see him
fucking
there.
phone.
He looked to be around my age, so roughly late 30s, and had really short blonde hair. I was a little bit confused by why he was sitting at my table,
Can I
and I
help
looked
you?
up at him.
Like,
That's when he just stated that his kid loved Chuck E. Cheese. I said that mine did too, and we talked very briefly about our kids.
nigga, okay.
I don't remember much of what he said, because I was still confused as to why he had come up to me in the first place.
I hate people
He
like
must
that,
have
bro.
sensed my confusion, because he then stuck out his hand for me to shake and
Nigga.
introduced himself to me.
Bro, you choked your chicken with that hand, and why would you want her to touch you? Well, I know why he wants her to touch him. People come up to me and say the dumbest, most random shit. Men, bro, first of all, if you want to talk to a girl, bro, that is probably some of the last things you say, bro. My kid loves Chuck E. Cheese. Come on, bro. Man, y'all gotta do better than that. Like, but I don't get all the girls, bro. But hey, man, when I do, I know what I'm doing, bro. I'll tell you that. It's easy. Like, all you gotta do is just don't, just. I sound like a dumbass right now. But all you gotta do is just be normal, bro. Like, it's very simple. Just talk to the girls like they're human, okay? And then you should get good. It sounds ironic coming from me right now, but trust me, I learned. I had to learn. This dude, complete goofy.
He said that his name was Dave, and I gave my
Okay,
name
boy.
to him. Then he said that he better get going, and he got up and walked away. I watched him walk back
Yeah, her
into the
titty's
arcade
big as
and out of my
shit.
sight. The whole encounter was a little bit strange. I stayed where I was for probably another 30 minutes or so. I didn't see Dave at all for the rest of the night. After my son had used up all of his tokens, he came over and got something with his tickets, and then we left. It was the next day that I was on Facebook when I saw that I had a friend
I'd
request
have put
from
a
a guy
band
named
down.
Dave. At first,
How
I
did he
didn't know
find
who he
that?
was, so I clicked on his profile. I then realized that it was the same man who had talked to me at
What
Chuck E.
kind
Cheese the
of?
previous
What is do about
night.
the train tracks, bro?
This was kind of weird, because I had only given him my first name, and I wasn't really sure how he found me.
Probably
We didn't
pinged
have any mutual friends or anything. There wasn't a whole lot on his profile as far as information or pictures either. I don't really know why, but I accepted his friend request.
Bro, okay. This gotta stop in 2025, bro. I'm sick of it. I'm done. Listen to me. If you do something and you don't know why you're doing it, you need mental help. Now it's to a point, bro, where now I'm getting sick of this. I'm tired of talking to grown people. I ask them, oh, why did you do that? Or why did this happen? Or what happened? And you go, I don't know. I think you get all right to just whoop their ass. I'm tired of this. I want to tell a story so bad on the YouTube channel about a situation that happened to me like almost a month ago, like a little bit earlier of last year. Like late last year, like this just happened. I want to tell the story, but I was talking to a coworker. He told me to just wait on it. I'm going to wait on it. And I'm going to tell that story, bro. Trust me. Stop being dumb. Okay? Like, okay, you mess up. You make mistakes. But if you don't know why you do... Listen to her. She just sat here and said she only gave him a first name. And he added you on Facebook and you accepted it, but you don't know why. How are you even an adult? How are you alive? You don't even know what you're doing. You're just doing. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a reasoning. You don't have nothing. You just don't know what you're doing. Listen to this again, y'all.
Either.
Listen to this.
I don't really know why, but I accepted his friend request.
You want to get fucked. Like, not in that way, but you want to just get... You know what I mean? You just want that to happen to you.
Unless it was obviously a robot or something,
What?
I would kind of automatically accept everyone. But that proved to be a mistake, as only about an hour later, he started sending me messages. He started out by saying hi and asking what I was doing.
He gonna send a D pic.
I wasn't interested in talking to him, to be honest, and I didn't respond. He kept sending me messages, though. By the next day, there was about 10 more unread messages that I had from him. I finally decided to respond and asked him why he was sending me so many messages. He replied saying because I wasn't responding. He then asked me if I wanted to hang out with him, and I told him no thanks, and that's when his mood started to change. He started cursing me out and calling me things that I won't repeat here.
Bro, y'all niggas are so fucking lame, bro. I'm so serious right here, bro. You niggas are lame. Bro, you get rejected. Well, then here's the problem with you niggas, bro. Here's the problem, bro. Y'all would get, listen, bro. Y'all would get rejected. Okay, it happens. It happens to everyone. Women get rejected too. I hope you know that. Women get rejected. I get rejected. Clearly. Listen though. You get rejected, then you curse her out? Do you know how lame you are? Like, that's so lame. You sent her 10 messages. Then she says, why are you sending me messages? So many messages. Because you're not responding. Then you ask her on a date. Did you really think that was going to work? What's wrong with your brain? Scan it. Because you clearly don't have what it takes to be an adult. Because that don't make sense. Then when she says, I'm not interested because your weird behavior, you cuss her out. Man, y'all dudes need a life. I don't give no fucking. Stay away from me.
I told him that if he didn't stop messaging me, I was going to block him. That is so
weird and lame.
That's when he said something that really made me worry. He said something like, go ahead, I know where you live. It gave me the chills to read it, because based on his behavior, I thought that maybe he did somehow know. He then said that he didn't even have a kid. I blocked him and reported his account for harassment to Facebook. I just hoped that would be it, and I wouldn't have to deal with him anymore. For a few days, I didn't hear from Dave, or see him at all. But then, one night, he came to my house. Luckily, my son wasn't home at the time and was at a friend's house. It was probably about 8 or 9 p.m., and I would be leaving to pick up my son soon. There was a knock on my front door to the house, and I knew instantly based on how late it was that it was probably Dave. My heart was racing as I walked over to look out one of the front windows. He knocked on the door again as I saw him standing there. I wasn't going to answer it, but soon he started yelling. I heard him say that he knew I was home and to open up the door.
What's wrong?
I was thinking that this guy had to have been crazy or something. He started looking around to the windows, and I quickly moved away. I knew that this was grounds to call the police, and I got my phone from the counter and dialed 911.
Should have been did that.
As I was talking to the operator, Dave started yelling something.
You should have called the police once he made the threat. I take that as a threat. I don't care if it's not classified as a threat. That's a threat. I know where you live. That's a threat. That's a threat to me. I don't know how y'all feel. Like, personally, that's a threat to me. You say, I know where you live, or you gonna find out. Those are threats, and I'm calling the police. It's very simple for a guy like me, though. Very simple.
Something else, but I wasn't paying attention to him. I was told that a police officer was in the area and would head over. I figured they would be there in a couple of minutes, and I started to feel better. Meanwhile, Dave kept knocking on the door. He was clearly angry now, and I heard him yell at me that if I didn't open the door for him, he was going to break in. That's when the relief that I felt went away, and I was just as worried as I had ever been.
Lame.
I still didn't bother to say anything back to Dave, though. Instead, I moved into my hallway and entered the bathroom. Then I closed the door and locked it, and hoped that Dave wouldn't actually try to break in. The bathroom had a small window that faced our backyard. At first, when I was in there, things were quiet now that I was farther away from Dave. I could barely hear the knocking, but then the knocking stopped. Probably about 2 minutes later, I then heard noises coming from the backyard. It sounded like Dave was possibly banging on the kitchen window.
How?
This only lasted for a few seconds though, and then it stopped. I didn't hear anything for a few minutes after that. The next thing I knew, I got a call from the police saying that they were there. I left my bathroom and saw several officers outside of my house with flashing lights. They had actually caught Dave, and I was told that he had been hiding in my backyard. I pressed charges against him for harassment and later got a restraining order.
Should
I'm
have been
happy
more
to
than
say that
harassment,
I've never
bro.
seen him since then.
It should have been threat, attempted murder, throw the book at him. Dude, this is not cool. Like, and like you said, what if her son was there? You got a random screaming. No. That story is much more believable than the last one. Do I think it's real? Possibly. That could be a possible real story. I like it. I like that.
When I was a kid, one of my classes in school won a field trip to Chuck E. Cheese. I don't remember at all how or why we won it, but I know that we were all very excited. I had only been to Chuck E. Cheese one previous time, and I think I was about 10 years old back then. When it was time for class that day, we all met in the classroom and then walked out to the bus. I remember that it was a great feeling leaving school during a school day to go to Chuck E. Cheese. We rode the bus for about 10 minutes to get there.
Bro, we went on a field trip, dog. We went on a field trip to Pizza Ranch, bro. I'm pretty sure it was Pizza Ranch, and it was a guy I was friends with in elementary. I think his name was like Tavon or something, bro. You know, it's crazy. I remember, bro, and we were. I think it was Pizza Ranch, and this dude, he ate so much fucking pizza, bro. I remember. Now I'm just thinking about, we had like a little field trip. This dude ate so. Bro, I'm talking about, this dude could have. And we were in elementary. This dude was banging it. He was banging out the food. I would never forget that, boy. And you know what's so crazy? At my job, I saw him, bro. And we saw each other, and I was like, "Well, you look familiar, dog." And he was like, "Yeah, I think I know you, bro. You went to Woo." And we were cool again. I seen him twice. I ain't seen him since, bro. We caught up, basically, bro. I know we rode the same bus. We lived in the same type of neighborhood, bro. Cool ass dude, man. Yeah, I saw him, which was so ironic how I just thought of this, and I actually saw him in the future when we were adults. Man, I love this world, bro. I love the world. I love life. Now the world, I don't know. I love life though. I love it.
And then we went inside.
Crazy, man.
This Chuck E. Cheese was located near a strip mall at the local shopping area for our city. It wasn't very busy, being a weekday during the daytime, and there was probably about 20 or 30 of us kids total. We all got a number of tokens to play the games, and there were a few pizzas for us as well. We all started running around playing the arcade games and stuff. It was turning out to be one of the best school days of my life to that point.
I bet.
But I remember that about 30 minutes in or so, I was looking for a new game to play. I just kind of wandered off to the corner by myself just to see everything that was over there.
That's how they get you.
That particular area didn't have a whole lot, and there was nobody else really in that area. I walked past a couple of those car racing game machines, I think. Well, between them and another game, I saw a grown man crouched down like he was hiding. He was really hard to see, and I'm surprised that I even saw him at all, to be honest. When I did, I first started to walk past, but I realized I saw somebody and I stopped. Then I went closer to examine and see if there actually was a man there. When I did, I got within about 50 feet of the guy, and he turned and looked at me. I gave him probably a confused look, but didn't say anything. He then smiled and put his finger up to his mouth, signaling me to be quiet.
Oh no.
I guess this guy was playing hide and seek with maybe a kid or something. It seemed really weird, but I didn't think too much of it. I kind of nodded back to him and then left him alone. I kept moving, trying to decide which game I would play next. After not finding anything in that corner that I wanted to play, I started to move back over to the other games. But not far from that area, I found a game and started to play it.
Pac-Man.
I was at that game for maybe 5 minutes or so. At one point of being there, I happened to look over to the quiet corner that I had been at before. I don't know why, but I just did. It was near where I had seen the man who had been hiding. But now I saw the guy again. He was standing up and with a girl who was not in my class. She appeared to be younger than me, and at first I figured that she was his daughter. But I noticed that they were walking towards the emergency exit, and the way the guy looked, I just had a bad feeling.
Oh,
Something just wasn't right, and I decided to walk over. I had no plan and didn't know what I was going to do or say.
Nigga.
I started walking straight for the guy.
He put
and
on his
then
mask
saw
and his
me.
cape.
What happened next was really surprising. He had been holding on to the little girl's hand, and then he let her go. Then he walked towards the exit door and left.
Are you
The girl remained
serious?
inside, standing there. I guess it wasn't an emergency exit, because no kind of alarm or anything went off. But the guy was now gone. I walked over to the girl and asked her if she knew that guy. She didn't say anything to me, but shook her head no. After that, I walked with her back over to my teacher and told her about what had happened. The man was long gone, though.
Pull up
I'm
the
not
cameras.
really sure what else was done, because I went back over to the arcade, and I don't remember a whole lot of details after. But I'm glad that I saw the man both times. Something about him just seemed suspicious from the start. I trusted my instincts, and my instincts were right.
Bro, okay, there's so much to unpack with that story. I believe this story. Something about this makes me believe this story. Now, number one, bro, he played a risky move, butting in, but good thing he did do it because he did solve someone literally getting kidnapped. Number two, why wasn't there further action? Call the police and pull up the civilian footage. See where he went. Ping his cell phone towers, bro. This is technology. This is 2025. He said this was. I don't know what that was. This is 2025, bro. Okay. This is 2025, bro. Cell phone towers, you better ping this dude location. There's ways to find. Did he get into a car? Did he ride a bike? What direction he going? I feel like this is not enough action. It's a lot of yapping and not enough capping. But it's not enough action. Y'all know what I mean? And that's going to be for a different separate video when I dive into stuff like that. Then it's just like, girl, what are you doing? Why are you following this man?
Start. I trusted my instincts, and my instincts were
Yeah,
right.
man, everybody in that building is useless, and that's word too, man. Everybody in that building is worthless.
When I was a little younger, I worked
Besides
at
the
Chuck E.
kid that
Cheese.
saved the other kid.
It was for a stretch of about a year.
That's crazy.
Back
I like
in
that story.
2016. The job
2016.
was pretty average for me. I had
You
worked
not slick. Hey,
here back in
MJV,
2016.
you are not
The
slick.
job was
My
pretty
boy, you know, this is my boy right here, man, Freddie. I still got to be FNAF 4, guys, and then I will continue to play the other FNAFs. I didn't want to go back to that game. But eventually I will play this Final Fantasy Freddy's.
average for me.
Believe me,
I had
take my
worked at
word
a couple
for
of somewhat similar places, like a bowling alley and a restaurant. I was in college, so I was
it.
part-time.
You know what, so no, last time, pause it. Bro, Barlow, if y'all don't know my friend, bro, his ass used to work at Chuck E. Cheese. So this is what this is going to remind me of.
Would not have the most consistent hours. This story takes place on a Thursday night when I was working a later shift until close.
Yep.
At the Chuck E. Cheese that I worked at, we had a break room in the back for employees. It was
Why
kind
you
of what
keep
you would
putting Five
expect
Nights at
in an
Freddy's
average
up?
break room. There were a few tables and chairs, and there was a fridge and a vending machine as well. After working a few hours of my shift, it was time for me to take one of my breaks. We didn't have a whole lot of employees working at once, so there would often only be one of us taking breaks at a time. When I got to the break room and walked inside, I sat down at a table. Then I started to just go on my phone like I always did. There was also a little TV in there that was on some random channel at a low volume. But as I sat in there, I thought I heard a noise. I didn't know what it was though, because I was the only person in there. I was looking around, sort of confused. That's when I suddenly saw in the corner, behind the vending machine, somebody was there. I just barely saw part of
Is
their
that a
body,
kid?
and only because I leaned my body over a little and looked. As I did this, the person suddenly stood up. It was a man, and I don't know who he was. I remember that he had a beard and kind of messy hair. As he stood up, I was too surprised to say anything at first. But then, I
Can I
noticed the
help
man
you?
was walking towards me. He didn't
Stand
say
up.
anything as he did.
Stand up.
The way that he was walking towards me was like he was trying to sneak up on me, but I could see him the whole time. It really creeped me out, And finally, when he was less than 10 feet away, I stood up.
There you go.
I said something like, "What are you doing, man?" The man did not answer me and kept getting closer. I turned and ran out of there as fast as I could. I didn't look back and ran all the way to the front of the building. It was a quiet night, and there weren't too many customers in the arcade or anything. I just wanted to get to the area with the most people, though. I found one of my coworkers and let them know about the
tell
guy.
that man.
We debated whether we should go back to the break room or not. The guy might have been dangerous. After probably a 5-minute discussion, we decided to go back there. I walked back to the break room with my coworker. When we got there, the door was closed.
What?
We knocked and let the man know that he had to leave, but we got no answer. My coworker then opened the door against my warning. When we looked inside, though, the man was nowhere to be seen. The entire break room was messed up. Tables were flipped over, chairs were upside down and on top of tables. The fridge was open, and the garbage was tipped over and spilled.
You a
basically
raccoon,
trashed
bro?
the room.
Yeah,
We searched it, but he was gone. I guess he must have left after I had run out. We cleaned up the mess, which took about 10 minutes. But in all honesty, I was just glad that the man was gone and he didn't hurt anyone.
I ain't gonna lie,
that was my scariest experience working at Chuck E. Cheese.
That's scary. I believe that story 1,000%. I believe that because I ain't gonna lie, the way at my job, bro, the way motherfucking customers be looking in that break room, and that make me want to be on guard now because I don't play that type of stuff, man. I just can't. You know what I mean? These are some great stories. I ain't gonna lie, that first one I did not like. The rest of them I did rock with. Shout out to my boy MJV Animations, boy. You always come with. Bro, can we talk about his animation skills? They're actually hella good. Like, I don't know, I love this type of feel to it. Like, this shit look good to me. But that's all I gotta say, man. Hope y'all enjoyed this, man. Hit the like button, definitely subscribe if you're new, and I'm out, bro.